But on the flip side, as fans can be critical, followers defend. Have you met the follower of a sports team that when you criticize them, they like jump down your throat? And they're defending that team like, no, this is the right move. This is what they're supposed to be doing. And they're like, ready to, almost get in a physical altercation because you criticize their team. Like they are a follower. They watch that team. They follow that team through thick, through thin. See, one of the most popular stories of one of the disciples defending Jesus, that was a true follower of Jesus, was in the Garden of Gethsemane. Jesus was there praying just moments before he was going to be arrested. Jesus was praying with his disciples, the mob and religious rulers. They come in to arrest Jesus. And we read in John chapter 18, verse 10. Says, then Simon Peter, who had a sword, drew it and struck the high priest's servant, cutting off his right ear. Peter, he was ready. He's like, no, not on my watch. No, you're not taking Jesus. Yes, Peter went too far. Jesus even rebuked him. Peter didn't understand the big picture of what was going on, but I love Peter's heart. Like, I love the fact that Peter was ready to stand up and defend Jesus. He was a follower. He wasn't no fair weather fan. He was a follower. He was going to follow Jesus, and he cut off that servant's ear, and he was ready to die right then and right there. Now, I'm not suggesting that anyone caused any physical harm to anyone. Let's get that out there. And I said Peter was actually rebuked for this. But I am suggesting that we as the people of God stand and defend the truth of God's word. And not just the easy truths like grace and forgiveness that are very much a part of God's story. Like there's no salvation without God's grace, without his forgiveness. The easy truths like talking about heaven. But we need to make sure we're defending the hard truths. The truths that might not be so popular in today's society and culture. Because just because it's not popular doesn't mean it's not truth. And that we as believers need to defend everything about God's word. Every truth. The easy truths, but also the hard truths. Like the wages of sin is death. That's a hard truth that we need to defend. We need to stand up that, no, you can't live however you want. God has given us a very set of guidelines on how we are supposed to live. And when we sin, the Bible tells us the wages of sin is death. Is there forgiveness and grace? Absolutely. But that's something we need to ask for. That God only created two genders, all right, in the beginning. He created man and he created woman. That's a truth that we need to stand on and defend. That homosexuality is a sin. We need to stand and we need to defend. In love, not talking about being a jerk, but it's a sin that we need to stand on the truth of God's word. That abortion is a sin. These aren't popular topics right now in culture, and too many churches and pastors and honestly Christians are shying away from them. No, now's the time to stand up and say, I'm a follower of Jesus, and I believe this Bible cover to cover, and it's truths that we need to be willing to stand and defend. That Jesus is the only way to heaven. Our culture wants to tell you and tell us that, there's many ways to believe. That it doesn't matter if it's through Buddha or Allah or whatever. Look, no, Jesus is the only way to heaven. That there is a very real hell that people are going to spend eternity in. And it's our job as the people of God to share the gospel. That's why Christy and Melody are going to the Dominican to share the gospel, the truth of God's word, with people that don't know. And guess what? That's our job here, now, here in Marcy, New York, and New Hartford, and Clinton, and Utica. Like, it's our job to share the truth of God's word and share the gospel of God's grace. We need to be willing to stand up. And we don't wave our finger and be rude or mean, but we need to, when asked, not dance around the truth. No, it's a sin. Now there's grace and there's forgiveness for you, but it's a sin. We need to love people. We need to care for people. And one of the ways that we love people is telling them the truth. See, the world has trying to tell us that the way that we love people is to accept them and their lifestyle, and that is a lie from the pit of hell. That's what the world wants us to believe, is the media and culture wants us to believe, that how we as the church love people is we just accept everybody and their sin. And that's not true. It's a lie. Because Jesus told us in John 8:32, he says, then you will know the truth, and it's the truth that will set you free. It's the truth. They need to hear the truth. It's the truth that will set them free. Not you loving them and accepting their sin. That doesn't set them free. It's the truth that will set them free. So telling people the truth of God's word, the easy, the good, the bad, there's no bad. I should reword that. The good, the easy part, but the hard truths. People need to hear all of it. It's the truth that will set them free.